Right, hello.
Hello?
Yeah, it's like this feels like I'm doing my podcast. Hello. We are here today in our Nottingham office because we are doing the live. Well, it was supposed to be live. We had a few technical problems. Um, hair head shave for Lee for Brain Tumour Research. Um, we are joined today
Yeah,
by our representative,
Amy, yeah.
Amy.
So I'm the community fundraiser for the East Midlands. So such a privilege today to be here and meet all you guys, and great fun day watching Lee get his head shaved, and obviously all for a good cause for Brain Tumour Research. And it's so lovely to meet Marie and just find out her story as to why she really wanted to get involved with the charity in the first place.
Yeah, so this is, I've worked with Brain Tumour Research before. In fact, my husband did. So my husband, Dave, was diagnosed in 2010 with a grade 3 astrocytoma, which later on became a grade 4 glioblastoma. And he sadly passed away in 2019. Basically, he was very ill for 8.5 years. But saying that, he had a brilliant outlook on life. He was always making jokes about it, even balancing a pencil in the dint in his head where he'd had surgery. So, Dave was very passionate about raising money for Brain Tumour Research. In fact, he has a little plaque in the Imperial Research Centre in London. Dave was actually seen in Charing Cross, which weirdly isn't in Charing Cross, which is actually in Hammersmith in London, and is part of the same group. So he was kind of involved by there. Since Dave has passed, I've also done some other fundraising before, so we have another plaque. But Pistachio, to celebrate our 20 years, we wanted to do a year of fundraising, and we decided to do it to something that was obviously close to my heart, and also obviously my business partner Paul, who was also great friends with Dave, because Dave was very involved and used to help us out and stuff. So we have set a rather ambitious target.
Yes, £10,000, which is amazing, and you're going to smash it. Yes. I know, I have every faith in you.
So far, I've had a bacon booze sale because you've got to play to your strengths, and my family have all been wonderful in supporting me. They came along and have also made some very generous donations. But today we're here because Lee has...
Superstar Lee took one for the team.
Taken one for the team and has shaved all his hair off. So please, 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 if you can, donate to support Lee, because quite frankly, he's going to need some sunscreen for his head. It's that low.
And you're on to a fab start. I think last time I checked the Just Giving, was it at 770?
I think it's just gone up to...
That was last time I checked,
800 and something. I think it's gone up to this morning. I did put out a post yesterday to friends and family, kind of reminding them. I've got some great friends and family who are incredibly supportive of everything that we've been through. And like I say, Dave was such a trooper, and always saw kind of the lighter side of his diagnosis. So, but I do feel it's really, really important to support Brain Tumour Research, especially because of how we've spoke briefly about how the funding is actually
so underfunded, isn't it?
So underfunded, and how various types of cancer, obviously any cancer diagnosis is awful, but funding is not always given equally, which is something that Brain Tumour Research really needs help trying to find a cure, because currently for a large percentage there is just no cure.
And I think people don't realise that brain tumours kill more people under the age of 40 than any other type of cancer.
Absolutely.
Only 1%. of the actual national funding goes towards finding the cure for
cancer.
And it's just shocking. And I think until you just would never sadly know that statistic unless you was, a family member or family or friends who've gone through this, like yourself, sadly.
Absolutely.
But, and we are, it is all about fundraising, but it's all about raising that awareness, isn't it?
Absolutely. Awareness is also really important, so that people understand. Like I say, Dave had a very long battle, and was basically on chemotherapy for maybe 90% of that, and still managed to keep a sense of humour. And so I do think that it's important that people understand that there's quite a lot involved, I think, in brain tumours. And some people live with them for a very long time. In fact, we think that Dave might have even had it as a young adult when he went skiing and hurt his knee, which actually turned out to be why he went to the doctor in the first place.
I remember reading the case study that it was
So he went to the doctor about his knee and ended up receiving the diagnosis of a brain tumour.
And I think it's also that awareness about all the symptoms of brain tumours as well, isn't it? That's
definitely
very much misunderstood as well, isn't
it? He never had a headache in his life. People just automatically assume that it was it's a headache. He might have done later on towards the end, but no.
I remember reading his story, like you say, was it his knee that he was struggling to drive?
So basically he had a weakness down the left side of his body, so he struggled to lift his foot, so that meant that driving was difficult. So he'd hurt his knee, like I say, skiing years ago, but it was different. It was a different time that he was kind of dragging his leg. Basically, he had a brain tumour on the right side and it affected the other side of his body. But actually, my niece who has MS has some very similar symptoms.
Yeah, a lot crossover, don't they?
Yes,
And a lot often get, when they first go to the doctors with these symptoms, often think, oh no, you get misdiagnosed with, it's anxiety or,
exactly.
And it's just...
Dave was very lucky that he had private health insurance, actually, and he was sent straight away to a top knee doctor who noticed the symptoms. So it wasn't just that. Later on, things like he forgot how to throw a ball, and he forgot. It's all to do with how the pathways are formed in your brain. So if your pathways are formed, say, there's various obviously levels. So there's ages where the pathways in your brain are formed, and as kind of a teenager, which is why teenagers are quite grumpy, is also to do with the pathways being formed in their brain. But the tasks that you do every day are one set of pathways. And because if that pathway gets interrupted in any way, as with Dave, it meant that everyday tasks then become difficult because it's something that you don't remember you're doing. So it can affect your balance, it can affect your vision, it can affect your hearing, it's so many different things that brain tumours can affect, but you don't automatically go, I've got a headache. So there's so many different things and symptoms, I think, that people need to kind of look out for and not just...
And I think trust your gut as well, they say, don't they?
Yes.
Really, pursue with it.
Well, you wouldn't necessarily have known at the time. Obviously, as Dave's illness progressed, it was a lot more obvious, and he actually had a small stroke, and he then lost obviously other functions. He ended up in a wheelchair, and it obviously affected his balance massively and things. But obviously brain tumours go in loads of different parts of the brain. So that was just his, where his was.
They're also unique, aren't they? Everyone's story's different.
Absolutely. And Dave's actually original brain tumour wasn't actually what caused it in the end. It ended up dribbling down, weirdly, down behind his ears.
Oh gosh.
But unfortunately, I know quite a lot about the subject due to
yeah. It's like, for me, I'm a community fundraiser, and obviously I'm great with events and things like that. And I've been with the charity since August last year, and I feel like there's so much for me to learn. And I feel like it's, you know, when I talk to people like you, it's like you're a neurologist, you know so much, because you've had to kind of study it, and you want to know the facts, you want to find out all about it.
I think also it helps you feel less out of control, you know, if you kind of obviously Google is not your best friend.
Yeah.
But we were also very lucky that the people that Dave's doctors, which he had many, were incredibly kind. They also gave really good information to us if we ask the questions. And it can be quite scary. You become very pessimistic if every time you go.
And I'm a real people person, so if I go to a doctor, I'm like, no, just tell me in my term, you know, tell me, like, you know, tell me how it is, you know, like, you know, sometimes the facts can be really scary, but if you get a really good, you know, consultant that's a real people person who's got that bedside manner that's like, you know, really reassuring, then that makes a difference.
It does make a difference. And also, you know, you've got to be really comfortable. Like I say, we were with these doctors for 8.5 years, which is a long time to be in such close proximity to a doctor that you get to know them that well over 8.5 years.
I can imagine, yes.
But yeah, that's kind of our story, and that's kind of why we want to raise awareness, why we want to raise money, and why it's so important for us, and
get the message out there. And you know, credit to you and your team. You've got some fantastic things in the pipeline.
We have. I
spoke briefly to Lee and Stacey and trying to get them to do a sponsored Fright Night somewhere. I don't think Lee was too on board.
Well, I don't know if his hair would fall out again.
We'll see. But we're trying to think of creative things, aren't we? Out of the box ideas.
Yeah, we've already got Chris, one of our designers and our top person in Nottingham, is going to be running the Nottingham Half Marathon. I think it's called the Robin Hood.
September, I believe.
Yes, yeah, and he's going to be running with his brother, who's a firefighter as well. So hopefully we'll get all of them on board too. Yeah. So watch out for training videos, which will be coming soon, because we'll get bombarded. Yeah. And yeah, we're just trying to think of lots of different ways. If anybody's got any ideas for how we can raise money, or anybody would like to sponsor us, bear in mind, if you're a business, we also will be selling spaces on T-shirts for the half marathon, and any corporate sponsorship would be great. Any money that you can give to us, however small, will be used wisely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's so lovely to meet you all. Yeah, keep doing what you're doing. You're smashing it. It's brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.